And I also talk about narcissism and
let's take a step back. I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot to get into. I want you to talk a bit about the male groupie.
Mm-hmm. So in the book, I talk about how to identify the male groupie and what that looks like. Mm-hmm. And what I learned in my journey, being the empath, right, and being really kind of vigilant of surroundings and things, how the female groupie kind of reveals herself and how the male groupie reveals himself is two different processes. So you've got the female groupie, she's like, oh, he's so amazing. Like, we know what she looked like, right? You ain't gotta be in music and you know who she is, right? She's showing up with open toe shoes in the middle of the winter. Okay. You know what I mean? we got them stories, right? But the male group is very different. He's going to show up as the photographer in the back of the room, right? Who's quiet. He's taking these pictures and he's going to come up to you and he's going to be like, oh, I took great pictures of you. Here's my card. You know, I would love to give you some free pictures. And, you know, as, oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Not saying everyone's like that, right? I meet people who give me free things and are amazing, but it's in certain situations, it's important to ask questions, right? Like, oh, this is really nice of this person. Let me dig a little deeper. What does this person really want? You know? And you'll find also a lot of women, and it doesn't matter what level you are in your career, a star is a star, right?
People
know that.
People feel that energy. And if you're an empath, you know, and that you're talking about this, I see exactly how you relate it back to narcissism.
Yep, it's all connected. And oftentimes when women are starting out, the assumption is, I'm not a star yet, so I don't have to worry about these things. No, you're a star already. People can see that.
Yeah, but other people see it. Stars don't see their light.
Exactly. Other people see it, and people will latch on to that. And oftentimes for women, we'll find ourselves getting into relationships with men who are really the male groupie, but they want access to that. They see what your full possibilities are, and they see where you're going, and they want to ride that wave. Some will just want to be in your space, sometimes to just ride the wave or come in to destroy what's ahead of you or control it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as talented women, we don't always realize what's happening. And so in this book, I help to break that down.
You better speak. Yeah. And so I know that people who've been listening know a lot about narcissism. We do talk about it sometimes on the podcast, but I want you to break it down in the context of being able to identify that in people that you come across in your journey, because sometimes you are so focused on your career and the fact that you're not where you want to be that you don't even notice, like we just said, that light that shines, but other people see it and can very covertly, because a lot of male narcissists, people think of the overt narcissist, right? The beating on the chest, I'm cool, I'm that dude, but there's also the more malicious type, which I think navigates in this space a little more, which is the covert narcissist. So can you speak on that at all?
Yes, the covert narcissist is very scary. And I personally had never really either dealt with it or didn't identify it to a certain point. And as you can probably tell, I'm a very spiritual person. And let me share something with you. I'm gonna go into what you're asking, and but I want to share with you the moment that God revealed to me what this was, and I had seen it. I didn't have a label for it yet. Yeah. So I was sleeping in my apartment one night, and I hear this man in the street. It was 3:00 in the morning, and he's like yelling. And he's telling this woman to come outside, the lady that lived downstairs from me. Now, keep in mind, it was a few months prior to that, God had told me he was going to move me and to get ready. So I boxed up everything in my apartment. I sold all the big things, and I was waiting for God to reveal where he was going to move me to. I thought he was sending me to New York, but let me share with this connection. So months going by, I'm like, God, you haven't told me where you're going to move me. So I wake up, I look out the window, this man is standing in the street, and he has a gun, and he's pointing it up in the air, and he's yelling, and he's telling this woman that if you don't come out, I am shooting up this entire building. Okay. Keep in mind, this woman's right next to me, right downstairs. So that all happened. And I remember feeling the thickness in the air. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, what is this? This is dark. And I remember that this man had come, like he would come in the middle of the night and he would roll his window down just enough for her to come outside, and he would talk to her weird. I didn't know what it was. I was like, that's strange or something. I know what that was. Later, I put everything together. He had been abusing her and beating her and everything in the apartment downstairs. He had threatened to kill her multiple times. I didn't realize that energy was going on under me, right? Now I realize the connection of why God said he was going to move me. So the police came, arrested him. She didn't want to file a police report, so he was going to be let free. And I was like, oh no, ma'am, I don't care. And I filed that police report. I was like, he is not getting out tonight. This is too dangerous. And she was terrified. And I filed that police report. And the next day I moved in 30 minutes. I was out of that place. And I realized that that's what it was. God realized with all the energy that was going in space at that moment, I still didn't know what that was until later. This man, I had seen him around before. He was clean cut. He was good looking.
And that's the thing people don't realize is it's the person next door.
That, oh, you would have never known.
You don't.
You don't know. He was
buttoned up, who looks good, who never raises his voice.
Never raises his voice, good looking. Had I met him on the street and he walked up to me, I'd be like, hey.
Yeah, he's charming. He's charming.
Charming, very charming, very well put together, clean cut. He was ruining this woman, and she was not, she was an educated woman. She was, in real estate. You would have never known that she was was experiencing this. And come to find out, he was a pastor of a church, married to another woman.
Mm.
And I did my research. I found out where I was like, who is this man? And I started digging. I was like, this is what this is. This is a covert narcissist. This is scary. Now, I'm thankful for that experience because, believe it or not, I found myself in a similar situation about a year later. And had I not witnessed that with her, I'm to be honest with you, I probably would not be here right now. He would have killed me.
Yeah. I can speak to that.
Yeah. You don't know. I would have never picked that up from him. He didn't, even looking back.
You do not know. And it's the things in your spirit and the things in your soul that tells you something isn't right. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes you say God told you to move. Sometimes God will just move stuff out of your life because he realizes that you are not moving when you're being told because you don't know what's going on.
Right. You're absolutely correct. And here's the crazy part about myself, finding myself in a covert narcissistic abusive relationship, was that I had spent 5 years volunteering at a women's shelter, helping women get out of those type of situations. And then I found myself in that situation. It was embarrassing. It was humbling. I could not believe. I was like, I fought to help women get out of this. How did I get in this?
Right.
But had I not been working on myself and my building confidence, I would have not had the confidence to get out as quickly as I did.
Mm-hmm. And that's the crucial part, is when the veil is unraveled, when it becomes clear, you do have to just get out of those situations. And it goes back to having confidence in yourself. And so we talk about having that inner light inside of you. And I know that there's women who are listening right now who feel beaten down because those situations take everything out of you. I've been there. They take everything. And you go from not even being able to recognize who you are. You're looking at, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was this vivacious person. I was doing this and doing that. And my goals have changed. My boundaries, which we talked about earlier, have changed. What I'm accepting and not accepting have changed. And I don't know why. I can't identify why. And it starts when, as you call it in your book, the male groupie identifies you, or it starts with that covert narcissist, whether it be a friend, a family member, whomever, recognizes your potential, sees the life that you oftentimes don't see in yourself. And we can get into childhood trauma and how that plays a part, and usually that is what creates the either codependent personality or the narcissistic abuse victim, how that plays a part. But usually you don't see what's inside of you, and you haven't been built up in a certain way. And so when that male groupie, when that person comes along, you have no clue. You see Prince Charming, but then slowly there's a devalue stage, there's isolation, and things start to look like not complete red flags. It's not always the abusive, the physical abusive situation that you've described with your neighbor, right? Because that's very easy to identify. Sometimes it's a little more covert, which is why the term covert, and it's underneath the surface. And so I think that it's important for all women in this moment, in every day, to take a step back and look at, who am I? What power is it do I have in my name? Because when we take a step back and we look at who we really are, that's when we're able to say, oh yeah, I deserve more. Oh, this situation doesn't serve me. And it's when we just keep pushing through and going through the cycle and the rat race and never taking time to fill our own cups, that we, are victims of those situations, because we never took time to evaluate who we are, what we are, and where we are in this current moment, and whether this current moment is serving our higher purpose and who we are at our